glossy.
No, you don't.
My red freaking face.
See, I think it looks better than that. Hang on. Oh, God, I haven't dropped this thing. Skosh. Skosh. So here we go. Look at that. That's better.
Yeah.
See? Much better. That overhead light doesn't. So you can grab it. That's a whole lot better. See? Welcome, everyone. Karmic Transmission coming at you tonight. It's Karmic Transmission. I still can't remember where we left off. Going to get a new number counter. I think that'll go in with the when we get the new digs finished up.
Oh yeah,
dude, I think that would be fun.
We won't
reset, but we'll get a new an actual thing to help us track because this ain't working anymore.
Whatever you see, man. I mean, you got enough irons in the fire, you know. You don't gotta remember everything.
I try though.
There's only so much room for.
It's so much more impressive though when you can just pull it out of there. You know, it really is.
Sure.
But it doesn't mean that we can't just get started with the Karmic Transmission tonight. Thanks for coming out. This is Clint and Jake Vanderlinden here with you tonight. It's a little bit of a crazy one. Odd timing. Thanksgiving was in there. I hope everybody had a fantastic Thanksgiving because I know that we got a good chance to have one with Dad. It was a lot of fun.
We did. It was a good one. It was a fun one.
Yeah.
It's been a few years since we've had them with both you guys there.
Oh yeah. Well, and sans the stepsisters and stuff like that. It was nice just having like us and you guys and Dad and Sandy. You know, just a really small family Thanksgiving. It was kind of nice, you know.
Yeah.
It would have been great if the kids had been there, but you know, that's how it goes.
Yep, they had it with their mom this year. And Sandy's mom was there. That was cool.
It's always great to see her. So it just every time it makes me think that I need to start doing something where we like what Dad and Sandy do, where we invite them out for Thanksgiving, host it at like your house or our house or something like that.
Yeah.
You know, that way Sandy's not always doing all the cooking and stuff. I know she doesn't mind, but
well, I hear that the smoked turkey beats all.
Smoked turkeys aren't bad. They're pretty tasty.
You have the technology.
I have yet to do smoked like an actual long smoke like that on a turkey though. Like I haven't done anything that way or a whole chicken. I haven't smoked any of those. I've done the pork butts and stuff. Those briskets, prime rib, but I haven't done fowl yet.
Yeah.
I had to give it a try. It'd be a lot of fun. That big green egg always does. I need to reseal that thing though. That's one thing I've got so every
like
so often.
Caulk?
Yes, sort of. There is a form of caulk involved.
Caulk.
Yes, caulk. Yes. It's no, the fire, so where the lids come together on that, it's got a felt ring. And that over time just gets worn and compressed and stuff like that. So you got to every so often peel it off and put a new gasket and stuff on it. Mm-hmm.
They easily accessible?
Not really. You got to take the whole thing apart to do it. It's a little
bit. But
they
give you ring replacements, right?
Yeah. Yeah. You just buy it in a strip, and it's got some glue on it that you spread on there. You know, some caulk that you put behind there to seal it to the ceramic.
How much is a ring replacement?
Oh, I think it was like for the package, it was like $28 or something like that.
Special order it?
Bought it at Ace.
Ace is the place.
Ace is the place. Dude, that's the one thing I do like the Ace hardware is because they carry a lot of that specialty stuff.
And their help is really good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, dude, they're local franchise owners too.
Oh,
they're all local business. Yeah, they're local business guys.
Yeah,
so Ace
you can avoid the two chains.
Yeah.
Corporate giant ones.
Yeah.
You go to Ace, it's local.
Mm-hmm.
And me and my father-in-law installed a water softener system this weekend. And we had some problems with some fittings and we got the one we needed.
Mm-hmm.
Number one, it didn't require extra fittings.
Nice.
A valve from Ace. And it was a good one.
That's awesome. I did the same thing when
plumbing, dude.
Plumbing is crazy.
I have a whole new respect for plumbing now.
Mm-hmm.
and plumbers. Dude, it's
Yeah.
we had leak after leak in just fittings.
Mm-hmm.
And finally, here's a little tip for everyone out there who needs to do some plumbing. All I know is brass to brass and brass to plastic or PVC.
Mm-hmm.
3 layers of Teflon tape, and then the Teflon, the sealant, the white like pipe dope.
Yeah.
Smeared on there, and as tight as you can get it. Unless you're going into like PVC or plastic. But brass on brass.
Yeah, you can get that stuff as tight as you can.
As tight as you can, and do the 3-layer.
Yeah.
It sounds like I'm crazy.
No, dude. I would always wrap that stuff like crazy.
3 layers and then the pipe dope every time, or else you'll redo your system 3 or 4 times because you're just getting new seepage, new little leaks.
Yeah.
Out of brand new fittings. So lesson learned.
Oh, dude, I would wrap those things.
Don't skip a step.
When I did, because I had to do a new water line for my swamp cooler this summer, and I had to go in and have them. I had to find the right compression fittings and all that kind of stuff to seal it up. But I ended up running I got some of that black flex plastic tubing from the shop and put the brass fittings on that, and it's worked like a champ. I think it's been awesome. So instead of doing an entire copper line all the way up, I use plastic, and it's made from that air brake hose that they use on the semis.
Right.
Yeah. So it's real heavy duty plastic stuff
that's interesting.
Yeah, and it's worked really good for that one.
Yeah. That's cool.
Because it's when you're working on stuff like that, and like I said, it gives you a whole new appreciation for the people that take their time and learn those skills and do those trades, because it's those things that keep society from literally wading knee deep in shit everywhere. You know?
Yeah. Well, those trades, those people that are good with their hands and can figure stuff out, those are invaluable. You know, a good mechanic, whatever it is.
Well, dude, they have yet to make a computer that can go in and replace your sewer main. You know?
Well, yeah. Those guys are gems, and they're kind of been more and more in a shortage.
Oh yeah, and that's well, and those are the things that
ask Mike Rowe.
Yeah, Mike Rowe's awesome too.
Yeah,
because I remember he talked about how the happiest person he ever interviewed for dirty jobs was a guy that pumped septic tanks.
Really?
Yeah, he's like, the guy pulls down a 6-figure income pumping septic tanks, and he's the happiest, nicest guy he's ever met in his life. And it's like, that's because
a literal shit job.
Yeah, a shit job. I've done lavatories on airplanes and stuff like that. I've dealt with those kinds of things before.
I've had little kids.
Yeah,
and that's the worst part of it.
It's bad enough when you're dealing with just the kids, but when it's your job to do that stuff, it's a whole other ballgame. Yeah, other people's shit, literally.
Yeah, kids and adults and everything in between.
But dude, if you've
seniors,
but it's like I was telling you with the bank job. If you've got a job that you know what you're doing and you can find the joy in it, it's all gravy from there, especially when you're making a 6-figure income. Like, why not?
Right.
And that's the thing. These plumbers, these electricians, all of these people with skills are going to be such a necessity for. And oddly enough, that skilled job that we're looking for is very much applicable to what we do with Karma, because it's all we are is we're providing a service, just like a plumber, just like an electrician, just like anybody else. We're providing a service, except our service is delivering food to a food bank. Those guys, their service is literally fixing plumbing and dealing with fittings and things like that. Everybody's service is a little bit different, but it's all a service-based economy with those guys.
Yeah.
And we fit right into that stuff. So if our service is a little bit easier, it's carrying food between buildings and, out to people's cars and making sure that people get it home to where it's going to be used and taken, hopefully maximized in its effectiveness into putting input back into the community. That's amazing. But it's no less a service than what those guys are doing. Only difference with us is we can't really charge $100 an hour to come out and fix your plumbing.
Right.
All we're trying to do is we're trying to say, hey, give us $10 a month to go buy food and deliver it for you. Because most people don't have the time. They don't have the ability to go out and do that kind of stuff. So I'll make the time, right?
Yeah.
Because just like those guys don't make the time to go out and clean, and deal with people's plumbing issues. The neighbor across the street, Mom and I noticed that because we've been house sitting. And by the way, guys, my mom is an angel. I just want to make sure that that's on the record and everybody knows. My mom is the sweetest woman on the face of the planet because right now she's been babysitting cats and dogs for our neighbor along with house sitting and taking in mail and stuff like that. Well, he's out of town taking care of some business and stuff.
Cats and dogs living together.
Mass hysteria. And she's living through it all.
Right.
Because she's been back and forth living over there. We had a stray dog that came in and she helped take care of that. And we got it back to the owners. And they were incredibly thankful because they got their dog back. But she's sweetest, greatest woman in the world. But she was over there working on over at the neighbor's house, and she said that his floor drain was backing up a little bit. So we got a hold of the plumbers and had it snaked and all that kind of stuff and took care of it all. But it's one of those things where they'll come out and do that stuff, and every time I meet those guys, they're always nice, they're always friendly and very, very just understanding and ready to work with you. Great people, fantastic people, and they literally deal with people's shit all day long.
Yeah.
I bless them, bless their hearts.
Anyone out there who's got a job and they do it well and they treat people well doing their job, I don't care what you do, that's commendable.
Yeah. You're absolutely
ahead of the curve.
That's the biggest part is remember that we're dealing with people. We're not dealing with machines. We're not dealing with, animals. We're dealing with people. And it's an important thing because
not just people on a screen.
Yeah.
People face to face.
Yeah.
You can smell them.
You can sometimes peer into the depths of their soul if you have to.
Right.
But it's really neat that people like that still exist in the world, and that there are still some, even though they're in a shortage, they're still able to find some individuals.
People you can
smell. Yes, you can smell them when they're coming. Dude, that was the worst with the Blue Angel stuff at the airlines. You could smell that stuff all day long.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because you had to deal with the chemical toilets, and that chemical deodorant they put in those things, horrible. It's awful.
Yeah.
So
there's a lot of miles on your feet too on cement, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, a lot of walking, a lot of that job was. It's funny because I tell this new job that I'm working now, I tell everybody that you learn customer service and learn how to talk to people working an airline job at Christmas time. Just dealing with people that are coming through the airport, trying to travel for the holidays and get to see family and all that kind of stuff. There's a lot of high pressure situations that come up, especially if there's any kind of cancellations or weather or anything like that. And you've got to find nice ways to talk to people because that's get them to laugh, get them to chuckle a little bit, and that's usually when they'll start to ease up. But it takes that communication. You've got to be willing to talk to them. Yeah. Even when they're upset.
Yeah, and that's a good point. I mean, it's easy to complain about the person complaining, but it doesn't mean you can't take the initiative to kind of make the first move to be cool to someone.
Yeah.
Love my neighbor, Never said your neighbor had to be nice.
No, you don't have to. Sometimes you don't even have to like him, but if you can tolerate them and put up with them, and
optimism spreads.
It does. It really does. And that's right there, dude. That's why karma, it spreads. It's just like optimism because
hope is epidemic. Optimism spreads.
Oh no! Now you're quoting Rush lyrics.
Neil Peart.
Yeah. Dude, I guess they opened a couple of. I saw a couple of things where they opened some pavilions at cancer wards for Neil Peart, like as a community outreach project and stuff like that.
In Canada?
Yeah, up in the old Canadianville. Mm-hmm. I think it was Toronto and stuff. So
yeah,
better. Dude, his family had a lot of issues with cancer and stuff like that over the years.
Yeah.
It's that's one of those things we talk about it in Karmic. The brightest flames burn half as long.
That's true, man.
That's why we're just trying to burn lukewarm, but forever.
A steady flame.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe keep it in the red.
But no, it's like we talk about, and like Rex always comes back to with things is you never ever want to sell short the impact that you're going to have on the world, because that guy's been dead for 10 years, and to this day,
no, it hasn't been 10. But
when did he pass away? It was like what, 2014, 2015, wasn't it, right around there? It was pre-COVID and everything.
Was it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was. I can swear it was.
The same year Eddie Van Halen died?
Might have been.
They were pretty close together.
I think so. I don't know. We'll have to look it up.
My rock heroes are dead.
Most of mine are too.
That's all the Rolling Stones are still alive.
Dude, that's a nuclear bomb could go off, and the Rolling Stones will be sitting there with like 10 cockroaches. Oh, I guess this is our audience now.
Powerful.
Yeah, those guys, they're not going anywhere.
They're formidable.
But like the biggest part behind all that stuff is that guy's been dead for quite a few years now. But his life and his legacy is so much that even after his death, his impact is still felt to today.
Yeah.
And that's something that every single individual person has the ability to do. Yeah. And it has nothing to do with having to be a rock star. It has nothing to do with making a fortune and getting by. It's literally every action that we take. The things that happened with my mom and this little dog over the weekend, never sell those repercussions short, because it all comes around. Every single bit of it comes around. And his life is just more living proof of it. And that's why it's so important to take those good actions to be a good person, because in the end, those are the things that will sustain you when the world is looking the other way at you. Because you don't do those things for them, you do it for you.
Yeah.
And that's it's the most important thing in the world is don't go out and do good, just be a good person. If you're that, the world will start correcting itself, because you're one last worry that we have to have. You're one last concern and one last thing eating up everybody else's time.
Yeah. Yep.
And that's not to say that people are not worth the time and energy, but it's the greatest gift that you can give to your fellow human beings, is to be somebody that's capable of taking care of yourself.
Yeah.
And not forcing your shortcomings and your failings on others to try to solve for you. Because that's a real, how hard it is for people to do that.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when we were younger, a lot of my friends and stuff, I would always hear them be like, well, tell me what to do. Tell me what to do. And it's like, dude, I'm trying to figure out what the hell what I'm going to do. How can I tell you what to do?
Right.
That's the most ridiculous thing in the world, to ask somebody to tell you what to do and then think that it's actually going to be for your own good.
Yeah.
That's the part that blows my mind, is all that does is it lets people take advantage of you. When you surrender your responsibilities like that and your agency, it's ridiculous. It's absolutely insane.
Yeah, you can't be some do-gooder and not be a stable person.
Yeah. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
Having a bunch of kids with messy rooms tell you how to take care of your house, and it doesn't work that way.
How to vote.
Mm-hmm.
Because who to like and what to stand up for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People know, and it's not to say that you need experience in all things.
Well, yeah, nobody has that.
It's not possible. But the least that you can do is look to your own things first, and then go outward once you've got that in place.
Yeah, it's a good.
So
it's not just a good place to start. It's kind of a vital place to start.
Yeah.
You know, really.
Well, and it's
can't be broken and go out and fix things.
Well, dude, that's the other part of it is who says that we're broken? You know.
Well, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, because I'm with you. You can't. A broken tool cannot fix itself by any stretch of the imagination. But I'm of that mind that people are perfect. You're perfect exactly how you are, faults and all, because we need to have that perspective. We need to have that point of view allowed.
Yeah, but I don't need to hear I'm perfect.
Well, dude, you're perfect.
Feed an ego.
Everybody, because it's through that perfection that we can take incredible things and make them more amazing.
How about you're perfect, but you can be better?
Well, everybody can always be better.
Well,
That's why I say you're perfect in your imperfections. But
honey, you're perfect. And
Yeah.
then the kid grows up and he's a little shit
Well,
and tired because he's been told he's
you
perfect.
know, you're not wrong. You're not wrong that there needs to be some
But
humility.
I see in the bigger, like, sort
Yeah.
of, as if you were, you know,
Yeah.
maybe more spiritual side of what you're saying.
Because
Not so much literal.
That's exactly. It's a growth thing that you have to come into, because it's why we come back and say kids need bullies. You know, because here's the deal. It is the parent's job to say, no, honey, you're perfect. You're what you need to be. But that doesn't mean that you don't go to school and have that one kid that comes up and reminds you you're a short little shithead. You know?
Yeah.
Because you have to have checks and balances. And that's what those things are. Because in the end, we want good, well-rounded people.
Yeah.
And
we're not condoning bullyism.
No, not at all. I'm not saying.
But a little bit of teasing and,
Yeah.
you know, everything can go too far. But
Mhm.
I know Ian made Cooper a lot tougher.
Yeah. Bingo.
Just because he was his brother giving him
dude,
rough time.
You, me, and Rex. There's literally different stages of how that evolution works. Because with you being so much older than us, there was never rivalry, competition. There was none of that stuff like Cooper and Ian had. Right. It was a very different. You were much more endeared to us, right? Because it was just like, no, these are my little brothers because they're little. I'm huge. They're little. You know. Right,
and there was also I wasn't there all the time.
No.
So when I come stay.
It was more
like if I was there all the time, we'd probably find things that.
Oh yeah, it definitely would have. Yeah, but me and Rex around each other all the time, no breaks.
2 years apart.
2 years apart.
Yeah.
Very different, you know, much more like Cooper and Ian.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, and our cousins, you know, Wes and Stubb, Tweet and Jess, and I'd sleep over with those guys, and just listen to them, just like the movie Step Brothers, where they're laying there whispering hateful things, and then like that was real. That's real. Like, young dudes do that who are brothers that are close.
Better not close your eyes when you're sleeping. I'm gonna stand up and punch you in the face. Yeah, no. And
Ladies and I watched that the other night. That's one of the funniest.
That show is fantastic because those two 40-year-old men nailed everything about being like a 14-year-old kid.
12.
Yeah, maybe. 12 to 14-year-old boys. Like that's nailed it. The maturity, the everything about it, because it's lived through it.
Dragon and Nighthawk.
Yeah, Dragon and Nighthawk. Right. It's Rex played the drums growing up. You know, like all that stuff. That show is fantastic.
Did you touch his drum set?
I touch his drum set all the time. But I didn't go so far as to Will Ferrell the drum set. Didn't do that. Well, you know,
I wouldn't.
That would have been. That would have been a whole different thing. Yeah. Which his idea for his what he wants to do with his kit's pretty cool. I'm glad that he wants to reskin it and kind of redo his drum kit like he was talking.
Yeah, that'll be cool. Really I'm excited to see that.
So,
get the band back together.
It would be a lot of fun. It'd be a whole lot of fun. get you and Colby out there. I was actually thinking I need to get out the saxophone and try it out. I finally had some reeds show up. So I ought to give it a shot because it's been way too long. It was kind of crazy. They did a grand reopening at my new work and stuff like that the other week. And they had one of the girls from our marketing team come out and play her harp because she's like a concert harpist and stuff like that. So she's got one of the great big huge ones with flip pedals. It's basically like a piano without the keys, They're cool.
Yeah.
But she played Star Wars and stuff on it, and she played all kinds of stuff.
Who's this again?
Her name is Katie Ann. Yeah. And
how do you know her?
She's at my work. She's in our marketing department.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and she helped coordinate the entire event and stuff. And she came out and played the harp. She's going to come out again this week. This week or next week. Oh. Yeah. Really talented people out there.
There are.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. There's a lot of talent in the state of Utah.
Dude, there's a ton of talent, and it's
dancers and singers, and you'll see them on the shows.
Mm-hmm. Everybody knows Aiken.
Clay Aiken?
Was it Clay Aiken or the kid that was on American Idol was huge?
He was the kid from Murray.
Yeah.
Clay Aiken was way before then.
Well, I don't watch that
I don't
stuff.
either.
I don't know those things.
He went to your high school.
Years after I graduated. I didn't know him. Did I?
Was it Timmy Wonderland?
Might as well have been. And that name's just as good as any name. I can't remember. It's an A name, isn't it? I swear.
Gosh.
It's gonna, we'll
figure
it out.
Hear enough about it for those weeks.
Somebody mentioned
awesome,
it the other day. Yeah,
he did well on that.
Yeah, he did really good. That's why tons of talent here in this town.
Think of his name right now.
And those like the guys over at Boro Syndicate with all their glass blowing and stuff like that. And there's people all over in this town with cool, neat little talents. Dude, this guy that Rex met at the gym named John, that's a metal worker and makes like knives and swords and all that kind of stuff. Nice guy. Like all that stuff all over here in Salt Lake. And the Evermore.
His name, he wasn't Jim at the John. He was John at the gym.
He was John at the gym.
Okay, that's good.
Last name was not Jenkins.
It's easier to talk at the gym than the John.
It is. You're talking to John, it can get a bit awkward.
Usually I'm talking to John.
No.
Eyes forward.
Eyes forward, mind your business.
Yep.
Yeah.
Those are the rules.
Mm-hmm.
But we're at the gym.
Yeah, Rex met this guy named John and makes knives and stuff like that. He was telling him he's a sword maker, and he told Rex that the entire idea for that Forged in Fire show was his idea, and History Channel stole it from him. Could very well be, but he's the legit armor man.
I've known a lot of creative people like that working in film and then with Evermore.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
by the way, shout out if you can get down to Evermore.
Yeah, check it out. Evermore is really cool. We went down there. Did you go down for the Christmas thing?
No, I missed it.
Oh, did you? Well, it's going on right now still. We took Mom down last weekend.
How was it?
Really cool. I am thoroughly impressed with what they've been able to pull off down there with that.
Well, all the buildings are real. There's actually tons of relics and architecture that he imported from Europe that go back to like 14th to 16th century.
Mm-hmm. Oh, dude, no, they
and it's beautiful.
For the $20 admission fee that they put in there, definitely well worth every dime. And I was amazed by the caliber of the structures that they had put together and the shops and things that they had coordinated. Mm-hmm. And like we were talking about, that local artisan community.
Corey Clausen was chief sculptor for Evermore, and you could get a chance to look up Corey Clausen, CLAWSON.
Mm-hmm.
I had a chance to work with him for a few years down there, and
dude, his stuff, it's
brilliant artist, classical sculptor, and an even better guy.
Yeah, dude, Corey was awesome. Corey was way cool.
He was great.
Big shout out to him because, dude, he put in a lot of work. When we were walking through the Evermore thing, Rex was actually pulling up on his phone some of the old model sculptures, when he was making the scale replicas in order to do like his big pieces down there. Mm-hmm. We were pulling up and looking at some of those because Dude, it's crazy to think of how much access we had to all of those incredibly talented people.
Yeah.
You know,
The big, did you see the big fountain?
Mm-hmm.
Which was the archangel.
Yeah.
Pushing Satan back.
Yeah.
I posed for Satan.
Yeah.
And I built those wings. I welded the structure together
Mm-hmm.
and put the wings out of rebar.
Yeah, the rebar winging to reinforce
Foamed
it.
it up with this
Mhm.
glue and shaved it and sculpted those suckers. And
Dude,
I wasn't around when they molded it, but
it looks really good, but I don't know what I think they ended up making it out of plaster is what they did down there.
well, not plaster.
Well, whatever it was, it couldn't hold up the stress of the sword because the sword hand, because it's Gabriel coming
Right,
down, he's supposed to have
right.
that sword, but the sword arm like split in half.
It did.
Yeah, and it's kind of all it's kind of jury rigged back together a little bit because it cracked and stuff like that and came apart.
That's
But
too bad.
it's really too bad. It was neat to see it, but looking at it, I was like, oh, it's too bad that the sword arm is kind of broken. So, because I think it almost looked like it was a foam plaster or something.
Well, I'm sure they
Like a
kept
foam
all the
concrete.
molds to that, so maybe one day they'll do it in bronze.
Well, that was my understanding that they wanted to bronze them originally.
I think, yeah.
But,
Corey,
dude, that's a lot of
was
work.
hoping, but it's a lot of money.
Yeah, it's a lot of money. It's a lot of work. It's and even if they'd done it out of something a little bit more sturdy than what they did, it still would have worked out a lot. It's still impressive. Either way you want to slice it, it's still impressive. And Corey outdid himself on that. It's really cool.
Yeah.
But that's the part that I was really, and this is where talking about that community building, with Evermore, I was really kind of curious to figure out for all of the little shops that they've got in there, because they've got like a couple of custom like leatherworking shops and a couple of custom gaming shops. They've got a whole bunch of little things, woodworkers and guys that make like back scratchers out of antlers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
All those little shops that they've got. I'm curious about how they do their leasing. How what do they do to incentivize these little shop owners to put up a shop in Evermore?
Yeah. That's really cool.
Because stuff like that is
give those niche artisans a chance to show their wares.
Exactly a consistent place to show it off.
Is there like a blacksmith?
They didn't have anything like that.
Worker.
Mm-hmm. Or no, they did, but he didn't have like all he had was a shop stall with a bunch of stuff that he was selling. He wasn't like they were making anything or doing anything that way, which definitely would have probably upped the production value of the place if they did.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure that there's
maybe certain times of the year they do.
I don't think so, because I think that I know the city of Pleasant Grove got involved with it a little bit, and having an actual like forge area becomes a big insurance and liability risk for the city and everybody that's involved in it.
Yeah.
So I can see where they wouldn't have an active smithing area there, especially where they're trying to do it as set pieces during different times of the year, because that would have to be just a more permanent feature.
Mm-hmm.
But who knows? Maybe it's something they'll grow into down the road.
Who knows? But that's a good point. You can only go so medieval.
Dude, it's true. And then the insurance
fantasy
man comes around.
And reality shows up in the form of an insurance
adjuster
or someone from the IRS.
A guy from OSHA and the Better Business Bureau but never mind, this is Victorian London.
The PTA.
Mm-hmm. So, but no, the fact that I'm really curious about that, because it's the same thing that we want to do, talking about some of these cross promotion ideas that we've been wanting to start doing with Karma and stuff like that, is start giving people an avenue to see where they can interact with this stuff. It's the fact that we have agents and people participating to the degree that we are is fantastic. It's something that is it's the heart and soul of Karma in a nutshell is just the average everyday people taking the initiative to buy food and help their community. Like I said, be good people. Don't do good. Just be a good person.
Right.
Buy some food for somebody other than yourself, not because you're going to get anything out of it, but because it's a good thing to do. And that entire modality is an incredible thing because it gives it's opportunity. It's opportunity that we can't even comprehend because it just needs the time to actually show us what it can do.
Yeah, I mean,
But
it's
the one thing that would be nice is if people had that opportunity to find a more brick and mortar, if you will, approach to, hey, I can go here and buy a food gift. You know what I mean? Websites and all that stuff are great. In the end, it's how everybody's going to interact with it. It's the payment portal, you know, but people want that human connection. It's that thing that we were talking about in the beginning with, you know, customer service and being able to interact with human beings on a level that's not just reactive. Because the whole world is not only reactive nowadays, they're knee-jerk reactive.
mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
it takes a very controlled and understanding person to be proactive and look at people and go, hey, no, this is easy. Let's laugh and smile about it and have a good time because we'll get through this no matter what. You know, it's a very proactive approach to life.
Proactive, yeah. And just anytime you can engage in real conversation about something good, the world's a better place.
Bingo.
Because a lot of it is just over the phone, you know, and just, you know, it usually takes a turn for the worst in a lot of cases, you know.
Yeah.
But
well, it's
there's not a lot of good spread out there too, but it's susceptible to those negative things because you don't have someone you're dealing with right in the face that you can smell.
Dude, you nailed it. Exactly, that you can smell. Dude, smelling is such a powerful thing. It's an incredible. That's why I've been working on my scent. You know,
well, if there's
little cologne
you
and
can
scent,
smell them, they can punch you in the nose.
Mm-hmm.
So you might not say that hateful thing that you type so very quickly.
Well, dude, and here's the thing: is those degrees of separation all make it easier for people to get complacent, because that's one of the biggest things that I've noticed, and we talk about all the time. This communication, this language thing that we've made as a species is an incredibly powerful tool. But if you're lazy with it, and if you don't care, and you're not willing to put a little time and effort into it, it can do incredible damage, and it can literally be misinterpreted in ways that it was never meant to, more out of complacency than actual harm. You know, and it's important to learn to use this skill so that you can do just that, so that it makes it easier for people to differentiate when you're actually trying to be mean with your words or when you're just messing with someone or when you just slip of the tongue. Because
yeah, every degree of separation there can be more
loss of communication, misinterpretation,
misunderstanding.
Go from talking like this to throwing a screen between us. And all of a sudden you can start to sit there and go, well, I can't really see his eyes. I don't really know what his facial feature. Maybe he meant it this way when he said it. When in all reality, you can see everything about it, but you can take away about 10%. Yeah. Say there's 10% less understanding just because there's now something in between us.
Right.
More than
and you can feel an energy, you know.
Yeah, and you can.
Animals have a great sense of that.
They do.
They can sense your mood better than humans.
Exactly. And that's a big part of communication. A huge part of communication that people miss out on is that subliminal, the body language, the nonverbal cues is what they call them. Those things are so incredibly important in conversation. So now take away the screen and just put us on the phone.
Right.
When you've got my tone, you got the words, okay, I'm like 85%, maybe 80% sure that I can follow along with you. You know, and just little by little, you remove that, put words on a screen, nothing more, no inflection, nothing. And now I'm maybe 50-50 on what you're saying and what you mean here.
Right.
You know, because it exponentially gets worse. And What's hard is trying to put content out there. And this is something that I think we've been able to do fairly well with Karma. Go back and look at all of our stuff. And this is I challenged anybody that watches this video at any point in time. Go back and watch our content. Between Karmic Transmissions, 5-2 Karmas, DDKs, family food gift delivery videos, oddball random announcement videos, you name anything in our 600-ish video library that we've got, you're going to feel the same heartbeat all the way through it. And that's true communication, is when you can feel what people are doing. When people come out as do-gooders, you don't feel their goodness.
Mm-hmm.
You don't feel anything. All you hear are their words, and then your feelings are usually rage and anger and emotional turmoil. That's not their feeling. Those are your feelings, But when somebody's just trying to be a good person, you can feel their feelings, because they're not trying to invoke anything in you. They're just that person. Mm-hmm. And you can, it's an incredible, that's that animal part of us, is what that is. You talk about animals being able to sense people's feelings, and when you can empathize with people, that's connecting back to that animal side of ourselves, where we have to go, okay, what do I actually know and what do I feel about this person? And that's not to say that people can't manipulate it and use it, but it's a lot harder to do, especially when you can isolate your feelings from their feelings.
Mm-hmm.
So, because that's what they're trying to use to control you, is feelings, and they use this thing, this language machine, to do it.
Right. It's a lot easier
to
control people with emotion than logic.
Emotion shuts this down.
Mm-hmm.
It's when you yell at a dog and start getting it worried, it doesn't think, it doesn't rationalize, it just starts panicking. And that's all that is. And we're, in that regard, we're no different than the animals.
Yep.
You put us into a fear response level, and we act with our emotions. We don't act with our rationale. So, but it's why it's so important to do things like this. It's because this helps you reconnect with your humanity.
Yeah,
is what it does.
There you go.
And it's very much, you are reconnecting yourself with humanity.
Right.
Because I don't do this. Sure, I do it for the people of the food bank. I do it to help the world, but I do it for myself, to remind me that I'm not like the rest, that I'm not like the people that aren't going to care and aren't going to try, even when you have those moments. And again, my mom, guys, sweetest woman in the world, nicest woman you'll ever know in your life. But to have what happened to her the other day, we had a dog. I'm going to give everybody the short story. We found a little dog a couple of days before a big snowstorm, and we hung on to it, hoping to return it to the owners, and it got returned. It was fantastic. The owners were less than grateful when they got it back. In fact, kind of like we were talking, they had a very knee-jerk reaction to all of it. Instead of sitting there going, hey, that's my dog, maybe in talking to the person, it was, quit stealing my dog. Very odd scenario. But when you're treated that way, when you're treated like that bad guy, it's real easy.
Well, they got physical with her, she said, right?
Yeah. And it's
threatening.
The whole thing was very, very poor form all the way around. But when you get treated like that, it's easy to want to say, to hell with it all. I'm done being the good person that I want to be. It's easy to throw it all away and become like the rest of everybody else. But that's when you remember why you do things like this, because this is the antidote to that poison. That's really what it is. Because in the end, those people, they're going to make you want to not care. They're going to make you want to shut off.
Or make them act like them.
Yeah.
Make you act
worse,
like them.
Even worse. Turn you into one of them.
Yeah.
But no, we want to be the better people. That's what we're trying to do. And so we do things to remind us of why we do it. And this is the most selfish endeavor I could ever do in my life, because it's all for me. The world's just lucky that they get to benefit from it too. But in the end, it's all for me.
Yeah.
Because the other side of this is, if the world's fed, I don't have to worry about people being hungry anymore. What kind of a weight would that be if you never had to think about hungry people again? Right. Your kids, your neighbors, anybody.
Yeah.
What do you use that brain power on? What do you use that energy to do? And it's all because I'm going to buy food and give it away. That's it.
That's it.
Just a little bit.
And then through doing this, you have a lot of social interactions. You remember how to talk to people. And
you build a network. You build communities. You feed people. You take care of each other.
Yeah.
We do what humans have done forever.
That's right.
But we have to remember that it's, for all those people out there that are going to knee jerk and have that other side. No, we can be better people. And we can choose not to respond those ways. Because our impacts and our actions, just like Neil Peart's, are going to be felt forever. The work's already done. Everybody participating already gets to go. And that's, Leahy said it best. Gratitude. And
the best currency.
It is the best currency. And it's this kind of thing that lets everybody show their gratitude for life. Because it's the only way that you can give like that, is if you're grateful. And if you understand how lucky and special it is that we get to even participate in this at all.
Yeah.
And we'll deal with bad guys. We'll have run-ins like those people with my mom. And they'll get a nice Christmas present from the Vanderlindens. That's what we are.
And you're not being sinister about that.
Not at all, because we bought dog food. We've got dog toys. We've got things for a little dog that we call Gradles. His name was Arlo, by the way. He's not an Arlo. He doesn't look like an Arlo at all.
His name's Arlo, huh?
Yeah, his name is Arlo. But no, we got some dog food. We got some things around here. Not going to do us any good to hang on to him. Why not give him to the people that are taking care of that cute little dog? Because he was a cute little, nice, friendly dog.
Yeah, way cute.
And just because they're going to act that way doesn't mean we have to.
That's the right approach.
Yeah. Because in the end, the world that I want is better than that. And it's going to take us having to act that way for it to be there.
That's right. Be the change you want to see in the world.
Barack Obama. What year? 2008?
Yeah.
When that his first year?
Well, just change.
Change.
But
that's
But that's
just it right there. That's, you want change, be the change.
Be the change, or don't bitch about
it. Don't cry out for change. Be the change.
Yeah.
Just like we said, don't ask for a hero, be the hero.
Don't demand it of others. Set an example.
Yeah. And sure, it's hard, but nothing in life is easy that's worth having.
Right.
Not a single one of them.
Well, if you can control those emotions, to keep you from going overboard, then you feel the best emotions there are. You feel gratitude.
Yeah.
You feel happiness. You feel joy.
Mm-hmm.
You feel, that you're content.
Yeah, exactly. And it comes back to doing things. Get past yourself a little bit.
Yeah.
Quit worrying about your feelings for 5 minutes.
Sniffing your own farts.
And put yourself out there for others for a minute. And it's it really does start in those small ways. In the very beginning, Karma has been going for 10 years, right? We had our 10-year anniversary we need to do a roll down and a recap. There's a couple of things that we need to do for it. But Karma hit our 10 years. In the very beginning, one of the things we talk about all the time is you don't do it for yourself. You do it because it's a good thing. And it's amazing how much you will forget about your problems when you're worried about the problems of others. Now, there is a little bit of a twist that we've learned over the years. And that's the other side of it, which is you can't help the world if you're starving to death yourself.
Right.
And that's where we come back to the whole. If you can take care of yourself, it's the greatest gift that you can give humanity. The next step past that, if you can take care of yourself, how about you give just a little bit to everybody else? Why don't you do just a little bit outside of yourself to help the world be better? Because that's the next step. That's the thing that the religions and the government, everything about human existence has always been building towards that part of it, which is you start doing things beyond yourself. To go back to the founding fathers, you plant the trees for a garden you'll never see.
Right.
That kind of idea. Because that's when you start alleviating the concerns of the world for those coming next, so that they can really take us to the next part of human evolution. That's because that's what we want, is we want to see what humanity can become more than anything.
Right.
And that takes a lot of people with just a little bit of self-sacrifice to say, hey, you know what? I'll do a little bit more. I'm going to give this here. And you see it in all kinds of ways, but it's had weird claims laid to it over the years by all kinds of organizations and entities. But the most pure and true form of all of them, the one that was the foundation of human civilization, is business, trade.
Right.
Do
you want that? Well,
yeah.
Give me this.
Dude, we're
That's
two
all
cavemen.
it is.
You've got a coconut. I've got a banana. You want to trade? We're
Right.
grunting at each other,
Right.
but we can
That's
understand
a
transaction. We can understand business. And by doing this, we do more together than we could ever do apart.
Yeah.
That is the foundation of humanity. Trade, business, not governments, not control metrics, not anything else. Trade. And
Right.
if we can unleash that ability between people, that's where true economic power comes from, because the people comes up with the goods, services, and everything in between that we need for it. Now, that's not to say all regulation is bad, because there are certain things that need to come up, but typically in nature, those things self-correct.
Mm-hmm.
And we just have to have a little bit of faith that it'll happen before it's too late, because it usually does. Because before things get to the point of self-destruction, usually most people turn around and say, now, wait a minute, let's fix this. So you can't just say that it won't do it. But it does mean that you have to have faith. And that's something that a lot of people have a hard time with, because they don't even have faith in themselves. But that's a whole other story. So, but it's an incredible
Maybe
idea.
they have too much faith in themselves, or a faux faith.
That's the big one right there.
Faux faith.
Faux faith. Faith of the foe.
Faux faith.
Mm-hmm. Damn, I forgot where I was going with that. I turned in. I
invented a rap lyric. So
we sure did. The faux faith foodies.
If anything good comes of this, that'll be it.
Faux faith and foodies from my shodies. But those services and those things that we can provide are.
Time is it?
Huh? It's about that time.
I can't. Is there?
There's a thing. Yeah, it's like. I want me to tell you the
There's
exact
no
time. 7:56.
Okay.
That's what time
I
it
gotta
is.
have a clock. I gotta see.
Dude, no. Well. That's what I say. There's a couple of things we got to hang up in here.
If I want to get in like the last word and time's up all.
Dude, I'll give you the final thought.
I
right now.
don't want a final thought. I'm saying, what if?
What if?
What if?
What if you want to be the guy that goes, And those are my final thoughts from Clint.
No, I don't want that. What if I brought a Rush lyric every show?
Okay.
At some point, we say the lyric and we kind of talk about it, how it applies.
Okay.
I dig it. Nail Pierre, because I mean, a lot of people on the surface just think he was one of the best drummers ever, but
dude, his writing,
his words, the professor of literature.
Oh yeah, man.
He
they were so far ahead of their time.
I knew people that got into things and had careers because they listened to Rush because of the words. Rick was that.
Yeah.
He was a published poet.
And
he never would have been had he not gone into Rush.
Yeah.
As a kid. And he was a phenomenal bass player. Same story. So there's people like that. So he had a lot of great words.
He did.
Sometimes I have some of the flutter of some Rush memory flow through my head as we're talking about things.
Yeah.
So,
well, dude, it's I know what you mean, because every time I think of some of this stuff, I think of things like 2112 and stuff.
All of it.
You know, it's those
everything. The Weapon on Signals. Yeah, those lyrics hit me like a gut punch.
Yeah.
With today, you know, the vibe. Yeah, anyway.
Yeah. Well, look, dude, I think that'd be awesome.
It's like 4 lines or whatever.
Sure.
Ties it up. So let's try that.
All right, I'm down. Totally down. What do you got to wrap up this one then, man?
Okay. From The Weapon. It's we got nothing to fear but fear itself. Nothing, not failure, not fatal tragedy. Not the faulty units in this mad machinery. Not the broken contacts in emotional chemistry.
I'd say that's a good way to wrap it up.
Yeah.
Because, dude, it's a very poignant way of looking at the machinery that we're dealing with all the time.
Yep, the machine. Not the faulty units in this mad machinery. Not the broken contacts in emotional chemistry. Signals is awesome.
And ahead of their time.
Yep.
Because who else was writing about that kind of stuff in the 80s?
Yeah.
No one.
That's like 1984.
Huh?
So, yeah.
They're Canadian.
Yep.
Where else would you pick it up but Canada?
Yeah, there's some great ones.
There really are. But that's a good spot to call it. Because it's a karmic transmission all over the place. But it's exactly what we need on a Monday between holidays. Something that's just a little bit different. Because there'll be another one right after Christmas, dude. Day after Christmas is the next transmission.
The day after
Christmas? Day after Christmas would be the next one. So
I might have to be somewhere.
If you got to be somewhere, that's cool. We'll keep it short. We can do something else. I might even have to fly solo for that one, which
make Rex help with you.
Well, maybe it needs to be. I don't know. I've been thinking a little bit about that one. He does, dude. He does tons.
I'm kidding.
That
was supposed to be an obvious joke.
Well, you talk about egos. We got to be careful with that one because we got to play both sides of it. You got to give them the high and the low to keep them balanced. That's the catch.
Right.
So, but no, like
so you got to give him some shit. He likes to be teased, though.
He does.
He's a good egg.
He's a great egg.
It's a great egg.
Like a triple A. Great egg.
Great egg.
Yeah, great egg. So, but no, he's well, we'll have to figure something out because the day after Christmas, I'm sure it'll be a little bit tighter.
Well,
you're probably going to be running down to see Nisha's folks.
Right.
So, no, I'm sure that we'll figure something out for it. because the scheduling is going to be a little bit different. But hopefully, coming into the new year, get this job finalized. We'll start getting a few things ironed out with a better schedule. We may have to. There's talk to be had, because doing the live stream, everything, getting people on, having you guys come out, everybody watching from home, we love having you out here. With my work schedule, I'm gonna have to push it a little bit later, so we may have to do a recording, posting more close to the podcast format style or something like that. We'll have to do a few feelers to lay a few things down with it. But there's going to be some changes. That might be a good time to start rethinking it, rehashing it. But we'll make something happen. Either way, there will be a transmission on that day for however long we want to make it, because it will be a holiday and we don't know what's going to happen.
Well, I kind of held you for ransom there on the Rush lyric thing. I didn't ask you outside of the transmission.
Oh, dude.
So I put you on the spot there, but I figured.
Well, dude, it's like everything else.
I'm a Rush guy.
I'm a Rush guy.
We pretty much like the same shit. So I went out on a limb that was more of a leaf.
Mm-hmm. It's a beautiful leaf. But in the winter, it tends to follow the ground.
Yes. And it can get eaten by a caterpillar.
Either that or
but that turns into a butterfly.
It does. It's all changes, man.
Yeah.
We'll bring Tupac lyrics in next. We need some changes.
Yeah. Once we get through Rush, we'll do Two Live Crew.
It's going to get a little bit crazy. You guys can see it all right here on the Karmic Transmission with us. Monday nights, that's when you're going to find out. Well, every other Monday night. That's what we've been doing. Every other. Schedules kind of fluctuate. We'll always deliver, though, because the one thing that's more important than anything is the consistency. Just like feeding people happens, they're hungry every day, guys. You gotta feed them more than just once a month, once a year, once when you feel like it. You know, it's all about just feeding people, because it'll feed your soul when you feed their face. That's what it'll do.
Gratitude and consistency.
Gratitude and consistency. But until next time, check out our stuff. KarmaIncarnate.com is the best place to find out what we're doing, where we're about. If you're really feeling up for it, if you want to make your impact with us, click on that button that says Make Your Impact and buy a family food gift. I dare you to even put it on an auto ship and start making your impact every single month, because that's where the true change happens, is when you decide that you're going to put your money where your heart is. And that takes commitment. That's what it does. And other than that, check out our Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, all that kind of stuff. Karmic weekend coming up, so we're going to have a lot of fun stuff happening there too. Watch for more posts and more things. And as always, guys, Karma out.
Karma out.